experience in which members are empowered to development, communication, and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Some of the rules of the meeting are this. To officially start the meeting, I want to note that this meeting will be recorded and shared among members for study and self-reflection. Some parts may also be used for promotional material later. In order to have a smooth meeting, here are some ground rules. Please put yourself on mute when not speaking. Don't interrupt while someone is speaking. Be attentive throughout the meeting and support the speakers with your warm smiles and clap. Let's have a great meeting, and let me welcome the president of our club, distinguished Toastmaster Raghunath Raju, for his presidential address. Over to you, Raghu.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Pramod. Toastmaster Professional is the location where you are here to hone your skills that you learn in Toastmasters for your professional and personal growth. I'm proud to introduce our incoming president, Toastmaster Kathleen Opondo, joining from Malaysia as the incoming president, and also a lady, I would say, iron lady with a willpower that she has done several things. With that note, let me introduce the incoming president, Kathleen Opondo, to give the presidential address. Over to you, Kathleen.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you so much, DTM Raghu, our past president. Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to Toastmasters for Professionals. This morning, I speak from Malaysia, and I know most of you, it is evening for the rest of you. You are most welcome to our club. Our club as Toastmasters is the club where leaders and professionals are made. You will receive a lot of wisdom and support as we grow together as club members. It is my most sincere appeal to you guests to consider joining this club. Please reach out to any of the club members and they will support you. Reach out to any of us and we will support you in taking your role. As you will see this meeting, you will see how members support one another. Before I go any further, I would like to thank the past club leaders for taking us and steering us into the new direction that we are taking. Thank you to our leaders, our past club leaders that were led by past President Raghu. And now I would like to invite our Toastmaster of the day to take us away this morning. Toastmaster Mohan Tenneti, you are most welcome to take to the podium and lead us to the next meeting. Welcome, Toastmaster Pramod.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. Let me share my screen. By the way, I see some newcomers. I'm Toastmaster Mohan. Today I'm playing the role of Toastmaster of the Day. A Toastmaster of the Day is a bit different from Toastmaster, a regular Toastmaster. Toastmaster of the Day is the primary anchor for the whole meeting. Let me introduce the theme for today. I'm just sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can see it. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Data-driven decision making. First, I would like to ask the audience, does anybody want to talk about data-driven decision making? What is your idea about that?
Looking at data and making decisions based on that information.
Yeah, good one. Any
making
other
a decision based on the previous, from the data of the previous history.
Yeah, and to collect the data and analyze for decision-making purposes to achieve our objectives.
Yeah, any other takes?
It's basically drawing insights from the data that is already available and running it through some models to make a meaningful decision for future outcomes.
Excellent, excellent. I think most of you are familiar with data-driven decision making, what it is all about. Maybe some people are not aware. I will just give a quick introduction what this is about, and then so that is our agenda today. Just understand what is this data-driven decision making about for the benefit of others, and then how we need to do and what are the benefits, followed by data analytics. From our Toastmaster website, I attempted to generate some analytics, and then just a quick introduction about free toast host. This is not an education session though. It is basically to give some kind of analytics and my view about it, and then we will summarize. Yeah, coming to the definition of data-driven decision making. By definition, this data-driven decision making is nothing but using facts, using metrics, and some data to take some business decisions, so that we are aligned with our goals, objectives, and initiatives. The decisions that we take should not be based upon our emotions or feelings. They should be based upon the facts. That is the central idea. How are we going to do this? Basically, we collect some data, as one of you have already mentioned, and then we try to identify some patterns from this data and make sure that every decision we take is backed by some genuine data, not because of our emotions or feelings. Then when you try to present this in terms of some kind of pie charts or graphs, visualize that the impact will be more. And we should also be able to see the true meaning behind the data. Now, coming to the benefits, what are the benefits of doing this data-driven decision making? One is that we can take decisions more confidently, based upon the data, based on the trend we are taking the decisions, not based upon our personal feelings. Second, we can be more proactive. We can predict what is coming in future, how we can help each other even before some risk happens. And the last one is realize cost savings. Realizing cost savings right now, it may seem like, oh, is it possible, or is it just some kind of a selling attempt? No, but you will realize later in the presentation that it is practical and it is applicable to us too. Some of you are already aware of data-driven decision making, but now the fun part is we are going to see how we are going to apply this for our Toastmasters Club. That is the interesting part for this meeting. Now let me take a pause. First, let me introduce what are the different aspects in this meeting. The structure of this meeting, let me explain the structure of this meeting. That is also my primary role as a team mod. Primarily, this meeting has 3 sections. First one is prepared speeches. There are 2 speakers who are lined up for delivering their prepared speeches today. They have come up with prepared speeches in line with their chosen path. The second one is impromptu session or the table topic session. We have a table topics master who will facilitate that session. He will announce a topic. Members can volunteer, some guests and some members, they can volunteer, pick up the topic and talk on that topic. The third section of this meeting is the evaluation session, and evaluation is considered as the heart of any Toastmasters meeting. It helps people to identify where they're going wrong and they can improve up based upon the feedback. So these are the 3 major sessions we have in the Toastmaster meeting today. In order to facilitate this meeting, I'm not alone. I have a team. We use an acronym called tag team, to denote that team. T stands for timer, A stands for accounter, and G stands for grammarian. So first, I would also like to introduce my team. I would like to invite Toastmaster Guillermo to introduce this timer role. Guillermo, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I am the timer and I will be keeping track of everyone's times. If you see this green background, then it means that you have finished your required speaking time. If you see this yellow background, it means that you have 1 minute left. And if you see this red background, it means that your time is over. You don't have to stop speaking, but finish your points and start wrapping up. At the end of the meeting, I will let everyone know what their time was. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Guillermo. Now I would like to invite Toastmaster Doreen, who is playing the role of an accountant today. Doreen, can you please introduce your role?
Yes, I will be in the background listening as everyone is speaking for filler words and the likes, and counting so I can give a report at the end so that you understand if you have improved since the last time you've had a meeting. Words such as so, but, or if you repeat a sentence or a phrase like I was going to, I'm going to, that type of thing, I will also denote and report at the end. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Doreen. Now I would like to request grammarian Milind, Toastmaster Milind, thanks for taking up this role. I would now request you to introduce this role and word of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. First of all, just give me a hands up if I'm audible. Yeah. Okay, Giri, I'm loud and audible, right? Because I have a problem with my laptop. All right. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody. The word of the day. First of all, let's understand why do we have a word of the day. Toastmasters is not only about communication or just speaking. It is speaking well. And how do you speak well? If you have to speak well, you have to embellish your language with some good words, good phrases. And Toastmasters is a forum where every meeting we learn a good word of the day so that we are able to practice it in our speeches or in our performance on that day, as well as we keep that word in the back of our mind. And when we go back to our daily routine, we use it. So that's the reason why we have a word of the day. So the word of the day today is spellbinding. Spellbinding, which means fascinating, holding one's attention as if by magic. So I'll just try and use it once, and then I would encourage one of you to think about this word and tell me how you can practice, how you can use it in any sentence. So let's give an example. I was spellbound by listening to Raghu's daily routine, which he was telling during our networking session 10 minutes back. He gets up at 4:30 in the morning, sleeps at 9 o'clock, has food only between 10, spellbound by all this. So this is how I was fascinated, as if I was, listening to a magician. So would somebody like to use this word, spellbound or spellbinding? Just try it out.
I was spellbound when I met my husband.
Okay. I'm sure he's somewhere around listening, and that's why you're using this.
No, actually, he's not, because my office is a separate building in my backyard. I have full auditory privacy. He has no idea. 29 years still makes me blush.
I often try this trick. I am almost 36 years married, not okay. All right. So that's the word of the day. Now, as a grammarian or as a language evaluator, besides introducing the word of the day, I am also going to keep an eye on how we use the language. What are some good uses which various speakers, I already noted a couple of them. And sometimes we slip in our language. So my job is also to observe that and bring it to your notice so that we don't repeat it when we go back into our professional lives. So that's the role of a language evaluator. And with this, I'm handing the control back to our Toastmaster of the day, Mohan.
Hey, thank you, Milind, for a very detailed expression of the grammarian role. Thanks a lot. Now let us proceed with the prepared speeches. In the prepared speeches, we have two speakers lined up today. The first speaker is Dr. Stephen Bowie. Dr. Stephen Bowie will be evaluated by DTM Susan. I would request DTM Susan to introduce Stephen Bowie and read out his speech objectives. Over to you, DTM Susan.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Dr. Stephen Bowie will be speaking from Innovative Planning, a level 2 project in Pathways titled Connecting with Your Audience. For the timer, it is a 5 to 7 minute speech, and his title is You're Grounded. Dr. Stephen Bowie.
All the best, Stephen.
You're in trouble. I'm in trouble. We should all be grounded. Those are the words that bring fear in my children. Fellow Toastmaster, honored guests, distinguished Toastmasters, today we're not talking about being grounded as children when they're in trouble, but we are indeed in trouble. What I'm talking about is, raise your hand if during the day you walk around barefoot, go to work, walk around barefoot, staying at home, walk around barefoot. All right, I see a few people. You're grounded. The rest of you, you're not grounded. And what I'm talking about is getting in touch with the surrounding, the surface that we walk on. Now, why is this so important? Well, I was spellbounded by the number of patients that I see having foot problems, directly or indirectly related to the fact that their feet never touch the ground. Now, coming from Asia, most people walk around barefoot. That's great. But in America, I've seen people walking around in soft-in shoes all day that I never see. I remember in college having a few classmates that I stay with in the dorm, and all day I never see their feet. It amazes me when they walk out of the shower, still have their socks on. How do they do that? Well, here are the reason why it's so important to be in contact with the ground that we're walking on. I've seen a lot of people, their balance being affected, their gait being affected, their posture being affected. Now, if you take just one component of those, it's not so bad. But when you're combining all of these things, it becomes a big problem, especially in people that are elderly. Risk of fall or injury from fall is one of the biggest money spending or money expenditure in the United States. Billions of dollars is spent every year for taking care of people, elderly, that have a fall. Now imagine if your loved one, elderly, fall down because their balance, their gait, their posture is not that good, and break a hip. The risk of your loved one dying within 5 years is 50%. You don't want your family, your friends to be in trouble this way. So what can we do? Well, today I'm going to go over some tips, give you some tools and some techniques to help you be grounded. So first of all, it is so important. Why it's so important for us to feel the ground that we walk on? Now imagine our eyes, we used to see our surrounding, we use our hand to touch and feel, to explore the world that we see. Our feet are designed to do the same. But we use shoes, since the invention of shoes, we use these shoes all the time. We actually never activate the nerve ending on the bottom of our feet. There are over 200,000 nerve ending on the bottom of our feet. But when we wear shoes, we only activate maybe half, maybe a quarter of all the nerve ending on the bottom of our feet. Well, when the nerves are not activated, the circulation is being affected, the muscle tone being affected. And another term, a medical term called proprioception, how we balance ourselves and preventing us from falling are not being activated the way it's meant to be. Well, my first recommendation for all of us, if we are not grounded, and this is very important in America, not so important in Asia, but what I see is the ground that we walk on, even those people that are walking barefoot, the ground that we walk on are all artificial. What I'm talking about is perfectly straight, no texture to this ground that we walk on. I'm talking about carpet, I'm talking about hardwood floor, tile floor. Textural exploration is my first recommendation for us to go out, walk in a park, in the grass, in the dirt. Now, of course, if you have medical condition, check with your doctor before doing all of this. Make sure you have full sensation. Now, the first few times, my tips for you is to do it for a short period of time and on the surface that are controlled, so that you don't feel the overwhelming the stimulation in our feet. And a lot of people walking tiptoe, oh, that hurts. Well, just like our eyes, when we wear sunglasses all the time, the first time we take our sunglasses off, we're like, whoa, I cannot see because the light is overwhelming. So take your time. The second thing that I recommend is something as simple as a spiky ball that you can actually roll in the bottom of the feet, activate those nerve endings, even in the crest between the toes, wake them up. Now, you don't have to be barefoot all day. All you need is about 15 minutes. Now, study shows that if you are spending about 15 minutes feeling the ground that we're walking on, activating those nerve endings, that's good enough to have a normal function. Nerve sensory activation. The second thing, third thing that I recommend for people to do is something that we call toe yoga. Now, this is a combination of doing toe exercises and some yoga exercises. And I'm going to show you, do a demonstration, and then we'll end. The toe yoga involves moving the big toe and the little toe independently. This is how we walk, how we keep balance. So try to move the big toe. And if you're sitting, standing, try to move the big toe independently and move the little toes independently, up and down like this. That really activate those muscles and feel the ground that you're walking on. Now, if you're walking on this texture surface, it will activate more nerve and it will function better for you. Now, this is so important that I challenge all of you to go out, be grounded, feel the world that we walk on so that we can benefit from the normal sensation that will enhance our body function, reduce your risk of falling, and have a healthier life. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Yeah, thank you. What an interesting speech, Dr. Stephen. I always thought, I expected grounded means being humble. So, but you have definitely thrown a different light. You enlightened us with the scientific angle. Definitely kudos. Thanks for your speech, Stephen, Dr. Stephen. Let us take a few seconds to give some feedback. Even the evaluator is giving her feedback. If anybody else wants to give any feedback to Stephen, please feel to text him in the chat box. Let's take less than a minute if we can do that. Yep, now in the interest of time, let's proceed with our next speech. Our next speech is by Toastmaster Shihas. I would request his evaluator Toastmaster Mary Thomas to introduce Shihas and read out his speech objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Mary.
Toastmaster of the day, and to my speaker, Shihas. Your speech is understanding your leadership style. The purpose statement of the speech is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. Secondly, is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style and discuss the style in general. Speaker Shihas, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mary. Before I proceed, can I just get a quick check if I am audible and visible to everyone? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the confirmation. So after an unpleasant interaction with your loved ones, your co-workers, or your manager, how many of you thought that if it would have been better if you could have handled the situation a little bit better by avoiding certain actions or certain usages of word, and then probably take those learnings and apply in your future confrontation? As we all are human, I'm sure we all will get into one or the other confrontation every now and then. That is something we cannot avoid. So that is one of the qualities of all the emerging leaders, that they handle confrontations very well. My dear leaders, I'm addressing everyone as a leader today because we all are here in this particular Toastmaster meet to work on our leadership and communication style. So coming back to my project. So when I first took the assessment to understand my leadership style, I was really confused and perplexed. I happen to possess democratic and an authoritative leadership style at the same time. So I was really confused to see how can I be democratic as well as authoritative at the same time. And I basically sat on it for some time. And later on, I observed that I am a different me under different circumstances. I'm a different me here at Toastmasters Club. I'm a different version of me at my work environment, and I'm definitely a different version of me at my home. So in my current assignment, I work as an analyst, and I have teams that are scattered across North America, Canada, and India. So here, I cannot just boss around with people who are sitting so remote to get my work done. So here I apply the traits of being a democratic as well as being an affiliative leader. By democratic, I make sure that all the team members across the globe are felt included in all the conversation. They are part of the team, they are part of the decision making. And this basically helps me to get the work done from each of them, and so that everyone is able to deliver on time and the work is delivered as a cohesive or a common unit to the client. Here, I also apply few texts of being affiliative. Affiliative is to make sure they all are feeling as a cohesive unit. This basically helps us to keep a check on each other's, even though we are sitting remotely, and we all feel included and included in every work of project. But if I tend to apply the same on my home with my kids, they take me for a ride. They definitely take my part. And again, I'm not expecting them to do any of my office work. It is just the basic thing like reading, getting up on time, and doing the bed. Here, if I try to be a coach or being authoritative, that worked wonder for me. Coaching basically to help them explain the what and why when they learn something new, and being authoritative just to make sure that few messages are conveyed properly, even irrespective of their all cute counter arguments. This is basically like if they want to say, stay up past 9 on a weekday. So I observed basically that a leadership style is different for different person, and the leadership style that we exhibit always impacts the others whom we are leading. In my career, I had a chance to work with various leaders. Few of them were were very much interested in to see what was that they are expecting, what is in them, what is the incentive that the leader will get for doing certain things. And in my opinion, if you happen to work under such a leader who is basically interested in what is in him for that particular assignment, it's always better to take the highway, my dear friend. Otherwise, we will turn into one of them. On the other side of the spectrum, I also noticed I worked with various leaders who I consider as mentors for me. And these are the person who basically helped me achieve or what I am today, basically. And one such person whom I would like to call out specifically is Karna. He's one of my previous managers when I started my career. I'm still in touch with him. I believe he exhibits democratic style, and it was he who basically helped me come out of my comfort zone to try out new assignments. And thanks to those push or coaching from his side, I am here where I am today now. I started as a mainframe developer, and today I work as a product owner for one of the major healthcare company in US. And I basically owe a lot to him. I'm still in touch with him, even though we don't work for the same company, and it has been 6 years since I've met him or seen in person, but we still talk through WhatsApp or other means of communication. And I would just also like to say that he is the one who basically helped me to see the big picture and then accordingly take decisions. Because a few times you have to look at the big picture to make a certain decision. With all being said, what is that leadership style that I want to be? I would definitely like to be a nutty 2-in-1 ice cream. The two flavors being that of being democratic and authoritative, with few tidbits of being innovative and being coaching. And I'm definitely trying to work on it and try to become a better version of me. So it is the time for all of us here to figure out what is the version of leadership that they want to be and how they want to impact others. With that, I conclude my speech and I hand it back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sihas. What an insightful speech. Dissecting your own leadership style. Many people, it's easy to point out somebody or criticize somebody else's leadership style, but it's really difficult to dissect our own style, and that too where you have a mixture of democratic, authoritative, innovative, coaching. Definitely a very good, insightful speech. Thanks a lot, Shihas. Let us take a minute to give feedback to Shihas. Or please text in the chat. Let us now switch to our, let me share my screen again. Let's coming back to our data-driven decision making. I hope you all can see my screen. Can somebody speak out?
Yes.
Yeah. So now let us see. I have taken our Toastmasters website and tried to generate some analytics out of this. The data that we have from the Toastmasters website. We have total 35 members in total. If you see this graph, out of these 35 members, in China we have 2 members, 13 from India, 1 from Philippines, 1 from Uganda, and 18 from the States. I have given a mix of it. So what does this mean? I mean, any thoughts from anyone? Any thoughts from anyone here on this slide before I tell my own thoughts?
You're giving a graphical representation to easy understand.
Yeah. I mean, what is the true meaning behind this?
Mostly two countries, India and the US.
People are more aware of Toastmaster in USA.
Different countries, different people, different cultures, and everyone is meeting at one platform, Toastmasters.
Excellent insights. So in my view, all are correct, but there is nothing like right or wrong. Definitely, let me now tell my insights that I understood. One is that we are a truly global club. We are truly global club. You see, we have representation from China, India, USA, Africa, and then Asia. How much? I think 80% of the world is covered. We have a footprint everywhere. Point one. And second, since we have people from multiple continents, so we should definitely be culturally sensitive when we deliver our speeches, when we talk something. So those are the 2 points I understand from this country-wise distribution. Now let me present you another interesting slide. This is with respect to the time zones. Any thoughts? I'll just open for your views. Please just speak out. Feel free to speak out. Any impressions from this?
Philippines is missed out.
Philippines.
Actually, we are on
China time. Yeah. So it's not missed out. Yeah.
No, it's not there.
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah, it's just time zone. Yeah. Yeah, the insights I get from this is in US itself, we have 3 time zones, and we have people joining from China time zone, East Africa, and then India Standard Time. When it is a daylight savings, usually in US, right, some March or September, I need to be definitely be careful. Even though our reference time is the Pacific time, which is in California, I also need to be very sensitive that people are joining. Some people are joining at early morning, and some people are joining late night. Some people are taking some time out of the busy schedule. Kudos to each one of you for all your flexibility in accommodating your schedule for this meeting.
Except it's a California-based club with designated times, and everyone who joined this club said that exact time, whatever it translates to, we can make it. And so you have to be culturally sensitive, but from a time perspective, we already have the time set. So that's not something to be sensitive on. It's something that whoever has to be aware of who's joining it, because the time set based upon where the club was founded and it was established.
Correct. I agree with you, Doreen. But what happens is there will be 1 hour difference for people who are not in US when the time zone changes. Yeah, that's 1 point that I should be aware of, or whoever is conducting the meeting should be aware of. Yeah.
Arizona has weird. Do we have any Arizona members? Because Arizona has a weird time zone too.
Arizona, so far no one. So that's why from the data, no one.
Yeah, not everyone observes daylight savings. Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to the another interesting slide, which is about pathways enrollment. When I have seen the data, there are 4 people who have not enrolled in any pathways. Not sure whether the data is correct, or is it like people joined, they opted out, but definitely something as a VP education for me, 2 things come to my mind. One is just talk to them. Is the data correct? And second, do they need any education session? Something I need to chart out soon. Any thoughts from anyone else on this slide? Okay, let me go to the next one. It's about the phone numbers. So when I have analyzed, out of the 35 people, there are 6 people who has not updated any of the phone numbers, home, primary phone number, nothing at all. So for us, the only way is to communicate to them only through Gmail. So this is another insight I have drawn from this. Let us take a pause, and now let us continue with the second part of our meeting, that is the table topic session, and then we will continue this. So in order to continue this table topic session, let me invite Catherine.
Yes, please.
Thank you
Over to
so
you,
much,
Toastmaster
Toastmaster
Catherine.
Mohan. Toastmasters and guests, this is the part of the meeting where we get an opportunity to speak off the cuff. I will share a question and call upon any member to speak for at least 1 or 2 minutes and tell us their thoughts on the question. This is an area that each of us can get an opportunity to try. As I speak the question, please take at least 2 seconds to think about it and think about how you respond, and then go for it. Table topics is one of our favorite opportunities to share our knowledge, our experience, and our stories. And so I would like to ask 2 Toastmasters to take a moment to share exactly how we do this so that our guests can engage. Toastmaster Mary Thomas, are you able to take the first question? Thank you so much. Here is your question. As I watched and listened to the Toastmaster of the day share patterns, he talked about some areas of sensitivity. What do you think our behavior will be? What do you think as a club our behavior will be after looking at some of the patterns our Toastmaster has shared?
Table topic master, Toastmaster Catherine. One thing is very clear, we're a very global club. Even though Australasia, New Zealand is not represented, we are a very global club. Given that fact, we need to be sensitive to the different perspectives, cultures, nuances, and what have you, based on where we are coming from. We're all different. We may be one, but we're all different, primarily because of our cultural differences. Now, how should we handle that in the club? The first thing I would think would be that basic courtesy, human basic courtesy. That is, we all know that. And we are at Toastmasters for professionals. We're all professionals. We know what basic courtesy is. For example, I would say taking advantage. No, I wouldn't say taking advantage. That's not the right word. For want of a better word, I would say going up into the clubs during meetings and one person is speaking all the time, for example, not giving others a chance, being inclusive rather than exclusive. Everybody, as I mentioned to VPE, I'm a VPE subcommittee, I said, every member, no matter age, creed, color, country, whatever, we all pay the same membership fees. What that means is that everyone gets an opportunity to be a role player, to speak, to evaluate. Everybody, equal opportunities, no matter where you come from. That is my right as a Toastmaster member. And I'm going to exercise that. I'm a Pathways Chair for District 101, and I would be exercising that on the Pathways. Coming back to the club meetings, we need to exercise basic courtesy. I'll just have to say that because I only have 2 minutes. From there, everything else will just build up because we are doing it right. Basic courtesy. I will just emphasize on that. That's it. Table topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mary Thomas. I hope guests, you are getting nerves cheered for the next. This was spellbinding for me. And so I'm enjoying the table topic session. May I kindly ask Guillermo, will you please take the next question? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. I'd like to ask you, Guillermo, in light of Dr. Stephen Bowie's speech today, he talked about grounding. I'd like to ask you, Guillermo, what in your view, as a young Toastmaster, would you implore your age mates to do in order to be grounded? Thank you, Guillermo.
Yes, what would I do so my age mates are grounded? What I would do is explain them the benefits and show them the benefits by leading by example. If you just show them a book, I think they're gonna find it confusing and they're not gonna do it because there's no reason why they should. It's very important to show the benefits in pictures or videos and in real life so that they do it and they do it with excitement. You don't have to be reminding them every time. They should be the ones that want to do this. And yeah, sorry, I'm keeping track of time and my mind is in two places at the same time. But yeah, that's what I would do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guillermo. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to give a chance to our guests. I will start with Akil. Akil, please confirm that you can see and hear me.
Yeah, I'm able to see you and hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Akil, you are invited to Toastmasters today, and you're asked to give a speech about yourself. Kindly introduce us to the club in 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you, Akil.
Thank you for that. Actually, it would come in my icebreaker speech literally. So I'm Akil. I've been a Toastmaster from like 4 to 5 years. So I've been attending Toastmaster sessions from all over different countries. I'm a software engineer, so I used to attend Toastmaster meetings of different companies all over the world. I love traveling, so I used to attend even a Toastmasters club which are related to travel. I love to attend Toastmasters meetings frequently based on my hobbies. Like there are Toastmasters which are backpacking Toastmasters clubs, so that I used to attend those clubs to learn more about regarding traveling and increase my public speaking skills as well. If I want to introduce myself, I can say that I am a Toastmaster, I am a techie, I'm a traveler. Apart from that, I want to say more. Being a Toastmaster, we keep upgrading ourselves daily. In the same way, if I want to introduce myself today, I would be Akil and I would be having few things. But if I want to introduce myself to you again after a few days, I would be adding so much to myself, in which way I have increased a lot. For example, by attending the professional Toastmasters, here I can meet the Toastmasters from all over the world, where I can add value to myself by meeting and having friends from all over the world. So I can increase the value and add value for myself, and I can add value to many of the people in Toastmasters all over the world. In the same way, I have been I can say like I'm Akil and I'm Toastmaster Akil. I can say only one thing: keep networking, keep traveling, keep learning, and keep laughing, and keep enhancing yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Akil. Thank you. I will take this opportunity to invite Ritu. Ritu, I have 2 words for you, Ritu. Strategy and data. Ritu, strategy and data.
Okay, so thank you for the topic. Data is always essential to define a strategy. So as we just had a session earlier where Mohan was talking about data-driven insights. So this is something always important. Data drives large companies. Large companies take data as their insight, take data to derive insights. They draw the data for coming up with a strategy to increase their sales, increase their revenue. Also, they use data to find innovative products which they can venture into. So they also use data to in many places like hiring, firing, any place where data can be used. Data is useful everywhere to just define strategy for a company. For in overall running of the company, there is need of data. So data cannot be, a company cannot run without deriving insights from their data and capturing the data, right data in right time. So I would say data is the driver for us for the strategy to run a company. Thank you.
Absolutely. That was very, very, very powerful. Data is the driver for strategy. Thank you so much, Ritu. And I will take our last speaker, Jen. Jen Lizer, are you there? Can you confirm that you can hear me and see me?
Yes, I can hear you and see you.
Yes, Jen, I have 2 words for you: measure and decide. Measure and decide. Jen.
So I think that it's really important to have a really good grasp on KPIs. A lot of the time, we've talked a lot about data and how that is really important in driving decision making. But having key performance indicators and making sure that you're hitting those important metrics and kind of driving towards those with every action that you take, be it a business decision or even something like writing email copies and seeing, the results from that. You can take it large scale or small scale, but again, being able to hit those KPIs, I think, is really important to make decisions. Yeah, I think that those 2 words are really powerful and help us make more informed business decisions. And I'm running out of time, so I'll leave it at that. But yeah, data really makes the world go round, and metrics are important to guiding us in the right direction.
Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate that you used the words that help us to measure and decide. KPIs, for some of you guests and Toastmasters, if you do not know what KPIs means, many companies say key performance indicators. And lately it's changing to certain other indicators, but ideally it refers to key performance indicators. So thank you so much, Jen, for giving us a snapshot of exactly how we need to decide by measuring. And thank you, Ritu, for sharing the data is really the driver for strategy. Thank you so much, all our other contributors, Akil, Mary Thomas, and Guillermo. This is when I hand it back to the Toastmaster of the day, Mohan. Thank you for the opportunity to lead you as the table topic speaker of the day. Back to you,
Yes.
Toastmaster.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine, for an engaging Toastmasters table topic session. Now, let me get back to our data-driven decision making. So some key points. So this is where we left off. The next one is about the self-pay enablement. In the Toastmasters, when I took the data and analyzed, 35 out of 35, that means almost all of us are enabled to do self-pay. That means if you want to extend membership or if you want to pay fee, we all can do it ourselves. We need not reach out to anyone. Now, let me go, before going to the next slide, let me ask you a question. How many of you like deals or offers?
Obviously, everyone.
Everyone, right? I will be first in the queue. Let's come to this now. I have taken this data. How many people have renewed their membership? Until September this year, there are out of 35 people, they have their membership until September. So 33 people. 2 people, they have renewed for 2024 too. I mean, until next year. The reason you can see here, this is the deal. If you renew it before 1st August, the membership renewal fee is $45. If you do it on or after 1st August, it is $60. Now you can guess who are these two. At least you can guess one person in these two.
Raghu.
Mohan. It will be me. I have renewed it because I'm getting it for $50 less. So in the beginning, I have also told you that data-driven decision making helps us in cost savings. So if you see here, we have a deal. Many of our members have not renewed the membership. In case you renew it, it is $15 per 33 people. We can save that cost, potential cost. So any thoughts on this? Okay, let us go to that.
People will start renewing.
Yeah, definitely. So they should save their money. That's my motto.
Yeah, Mohan.
Yeah, good. Go ahead, Milind.
Yeah. I heard from some other district that this benefit of you, if you renew by 1st of August for the term October 23 to March 24, you get this benefit of paying $45. I also heard that if you pay you can even pay the same $45 into 2 for the entire year. That is starting from October 23 right up to September 24. If you pay even that before 1st August, you will be able, you need to pay only $45 every 6 months. So if for the entire year, you would save $30. I've heard it elsewhere, and I just want you to verify it and tell us about it, so that when we are renewing, we renew to not just for 6 months, but even renew for 1 year. So this is my request to you, Mohan.
Yeah, definitely a good point, Milind. Actually, this morning I tried. I can renew only for 1 term. So I will be, since you told it, I will be watchful. I will track whenever if I get an option, I will exit.
No, what you have to do, Mohan, is, I mean, earlier times, what you had to do was after you renew, then I think you have to write to TI to open it up for the member who will renew, something like that. I've been a treasurer a long time back now. I don't recall. But so
Point noted.
Yeah.
Point noted. Yeah. Point noted, Milind. Yeah. So let's come to the next one. This is a free Toast host. So this is one of the benefits that Toastmasters, they have developed a website. It is helping us to do a lot of tracking. And so far the analytics we just discussed, they're all about from the TFI website. So free Toast host, I think right now, I don't say we are operating at a highest level of maturity with a free Toast host. I know we are taking baby steps. The first step is to make sure that all of our members are enrolled in this tool so that we can track our agendas, roles, and so on and so forth here. The basic thing, I mean, the first thing we can do is make sure that all of you are part of this, free Toast host. Usually if I add VP, when I added some people, they get a email like this, similar to the ones you can see here. You just need to accept it. So my request is, if anybody has not done so far, if any member is not part of this, just text me after this meeting so I can help you. Yeah, the other thing is I am no expert in this free Toast host, and this is also not an education session. My idea is that it helps us to generate a lot of analytics out of it. Like, for example, how many people performed Toastmaster of the day in the past? Jay Kumar performed, Mary performed. Similarly, how many people performed grammarian role in the past? So that way it helps us to generate a lot of analytics and track all our agendas.
Okay.
I'm sure we can, once again, I'm sure we can even plan for an education session once you people are in, and so that we can get all the basic things right and then talk about the analytics. Yeah, any thoughts on this?
I have some thoughts on this. Basically, what I'm thinking or want to do for the club is that every member takes every role in the coming term. That's it. Every member must be given that opportunity.
Yeah,
From
that's more on the
SAA
functional side. Yeah.
Yes, everyone must get a chance at every role.
Yeah,
during
point
that.
noted. Yeah, point noted, Mary. Okay, so in the interest of time, now I would like to proceed to the third section of this meeting, which is also the heart of any Toastmasters meeting, that is the evaluation session. So for the evaluation session, I would first like to request the evaluator one, Toastmaster DTM Susan, to provide the evaluation for Dr. Stephen Boy. Over to you, Toastmaster Susan.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. And Dr. Stephen, I'd love to see you on camera if possible. I'd like to first comment that your title was intriguing. We had our imaginations left wide open where we were going with that. Then you talked about being in trouble. We thought this was going to be all about the kids and naughty and getting grounded. And you took it with a very unique and clever way to not mean grounded, meaning personally and emotionally, but physically grounded on the ground. I really appreciated the message that you offered. First, what I saw, you were confident, sir. You were standing and you had a smile on your face and you had some general motion that you used effectively. You used some hand gestures when talking about taking off the glasses or when you were demonstrating the toe yoga. I thought that was very clever and very helpful. What I heard from your message was a very well-organized presentation. You gave us a problem with some shocking statistics, of course, and then you offered some real live solutions. And I was very appreciative of those. And then you ended with a strong call to action, asking us to physically do something. You used great vocal variety because I heard your overwhelming use of vocal variety when using certain words like overwhelming, because you did have the impact on us. I thought throughout it was spellbinding because you not only used the word of the day, but you captured our attention throughout. The one thing I do wish is that since your topic was a connect with your audience, I wish more of the audience had their cameras on so you could connect with them rather than blank screens. To me, blank screens and off is detachment. I understand I closed off while I was doing your evaluation because it was necessity. But for the rest of our members, cameras on means you're paying attention to the speaker. If not, you got up and left the room. So your ability to assess how well connected you were was a little more challenging, not your fault, but perhaps have your evaluator say, please turn on your cameras so he can connect with you through this speech rather than a blank screen. I thought you used a wonderful rule of three when you used the words balance, gait, and posture. And then you were offering us tips, tools, and techniques. Those were very powerful. I also appreciated the striking statistics, spellbinding once again, 200,000 nerve endings in our feet, and we're only using a half to a quarter of them. That's shocking, and it should shock everyone. I really appreciate you talked about the little spiky ball because I actually bought one for my husband and I wasn't sure it was going to work, but now I know on good authority that it will. I'll make sure he uses it. I also appreciated the word proprioception because that was used by our physical therapy when he was trying to regain his balance and his gait. So this really hit home for me. Very valuable message. I really do appreciate listening to all the wisdom you have. Those doctors and physical therapists that get to hear this are going to be spellbound. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Hey, thanks a lot, Susan, for an insightful and very energetic evaluation. Thank you very much. Now let's proceed with the next evaluation. I would now request Toastmaster Mary Thomas to provide the evaluation for Toastmaster Shiha's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. And particularly to my speaker, Shihas. At the very outset, I would have to give credibility and credit to Shihas, Toastmaster Shihas, because he spoke to me 2 weeks earlier with great intention of completing his Distinguished Toastmaster Award. I view that with greatness. I view that as greatness. Nobody has come from the club and told me, can you
Mary,
please
lost your
help
voice
me
suddenly.
achieve my, could be my internet. Can you hear me now?
I hear.
Okay. Yeah, as I was saying, no one in the club has approached me to tell me that, Mary, can you help me get my Distinguished Award? And as I said, I view that with greatness in a leader, greatness in a speaker. The speech was about leadership styles. You started out with, we are all leaders. Indeed, we are. No matter where we are all leaders at some point or another. And you also very appropriately said that you are a different me in different circumstances. That is also absolutely true. We cannot be the same whenever we deal with different circumstances, different people, different situations. Metaphor of an ice cream. I think I heard that correctly. There was a metaphor of an ice cream, which I thought was very appropriate for the speech. Right, if I were to say is spellbinding, the topic in itself does not really lend to spellbinding, but the information that you gave us was something to think about. There is an element of spellbindingness. To be a better speaker, to advance to your goal to be a distinguished Toastmaster, I would suggest that have some pauses in between your points. I do understand sometimes when we are, delivering a speech or when you're nervous, we just quickly want to get over with, and so we just stumble upon our words. So just have some pauses in your speech. And also, it would be nice if you can put the whole speech in perspective, in an order, point by point, so that we know where we are going. I got a little lost in between, where I wasn't sure where this was going. I felt a little lost in between. So I guess you need to just put everything in order. Perhaps the rule of 3 and stating 3 points of your leadership, or maybe someone else's leadership, may be a help, could be a help. Shihas, you're in the right direction. I would love to hear your next speech. Most of all, I would love to see you getting a Distinguished Award, and I'm honored to be selected to be your mentor or coach, whatever you may call it. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mary, for an insightful evaluation. Let us proceed with our tag team. First, I would like to invite our timer, Memo. Can you please provide your report?
Yes, great meeting, everyone. First, let's begin with the speeches. Stephen, you spoke for 8 minutes and 7 seconds. Shihas for 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Moving on to the table topics. Mary, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I spoke for 1 minute and 5 seconds. Akil spoke for 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Ritu, 1 minute 30 seconds. Jen, 1 minute 17 seconds. Finally, the evaluations. Susan, 3 minutes 25 seconds. And Mary, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That is everything. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Galeramo, for a precise report with the precise timings. Now, I would like to request Toastmaster Doreen, can you please present your counter report?
Yes, so I apologize, my camera was off because I was spellbound listening to everyone's speeches to the detail. Raghu, in the introduction, you repeated a lady. Catherine, nothing at first, and then as Toastmaster, only one slight thing you said for opportunity to lead as Toast, and then edited table topics master. Very small, very quick. Mohan as Toastmaster of the day. What does anybody want to talk about? So the does edit there. If you had harder pauses between sentences, it would be significantly easier to parse. Sometimes I couldn't tell if the preposition phrase was still part of this sentence or this sentence, and that made it more difficult to analyze. So some feedback. Hope that is helpful. That would make it significantly easier. You had 2 ahs. So this is interesting. In the beginning, you had 2 ahs in between the speaker intros. Then after the speakers, you had 7 ahs and 6 so's. And then you said, now let me present you, forgot to you. So the preposition there. Then on table topics, you had 7 ahs and 7 to's. So the later it went on, you had messier, slightly messier, or more filler words. Frequently, you know. So you would do 2 ahs back to back, not just 1, but 2 back to back in the filler space. So definitely think about breathing and pausing and not spitting out the ah. Let me go before going was an edit. This taken this data, since you told it, told me. That you said, since you told it. And I think you were thinking, since you told it to me, but the to me wasn't there. You could say, since you told me, or told it to me, but told it wasn't a full sentence on the subject. And on evaluations, then you were cleaner then, but you definitely had more ahs and so's as you went on. Stephen, we should all be grounded. So in the very first sentence or two, you had the object of the sentence change, being affected. You don't want your family, so repeated your. It is so important, why it is so important. So you forgot how you're going to start to introduce that. Shoes, it's in the invention of shoes. So you started to go one way to present it, and then you went to another way. So you got to be careful when you're practicing that you go full way with however you start saying it. And then if you want to rework it when you're practicing, repracticing with the full sentence. And I think you won't get so many re-edits, because it's almost like I could hear all your rehearsals in your presentation when you decided which way you wanted to go on it. I will go fast, apologize. Now 2, so 3. You just say second, sorry, now 3rd. Of course, that was just another edit, but those was everything I found. Shihas, thank you so much. Thank you so much for confirmations. Repeated that, so that is one question that was repeated. You had and to start a lot of sentences, so I couldn't tell if they're new sentences or run-on. So you use a lot of the word and. You also said with twice and where I am to become a better version of me was repeated. Basically was 4+ times. Once I started hearing that, I started counting, but I tried to backward count, but I don't think I got an accurate count on it. But you had said basically a lot, and then 2 so's. Akil, you had 1 ah, that was it. Malind, bring it to your notice. I wasn't sure if that was grammatically correct. I would always hear bring it to your attention. And so I didn't know if that was a cultural thing or a grammatical thing. So I just thought I would share it, that it caught my attention. So I thought I'd bring it to your notice. Like I said, I thought it could be just a cultural thing that we don't use it that way. You had 2 ahs back to back, and that was it. Mary first answered nothing. Table topics, she said taking advantage. No, not taking advantage. And then review 2, you said a different, you repeated a different. Guillermo, explain to them. If you just tell them, show them a book. So you had edited the sentence. They should be the ones. They was repeated 1 ah and 2 yay. Yes is more appropriate than yeah. Akil 4 ahs, 3 so's. Ritu 3 ahs, 2 so's. Data is, that was the sentence you started twice. A company cannot, so that sentence was started twice as well. Jen Lisa, you tend to go very slow on your words to buy time to stop filler words, which fundamentally worked because you had just 4 ums and 2 yeahs. One thing I could suggest is if you think about like Tom Cruise, he'll like be silent and then speak very distinct and then silent, and use the pause in between instead of taking the space with it. It comes across more authority and confident. And Susan, you had 1 couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever heard you say a filler word. That's my report. I apologize if it was too long. I tried to be thorough.
Thanks a lot, Doreen. Very detailed report. Now let me go with the next step, that is inviting Toastmaster Milind, who is a grammarian for today, to present his report. Thank you. Over to you, Milind.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Mohan. And what a wonderful meeting. I think we had some very good use of the word spellbound, and just for records, starting with our presiding officer, Catherine, she used it twice. Mohan, you didn't use it, but I'll come back to that. Stephen once, Susan thrice, Mary thrice. I just heard Dorin say it once. So big round of applause to all of you who made an attempt to use the word of the day. Now, Mohan, why I got a little stumbled was you had some great opportunities, both you as well as the table topic master, Mary, to use the word spellbound. Every time somebody completes a speech, you could have said, oh, I was spellbound. Same thing with Mary. So maybe this is a missed opportunity. So I just thought I will bring it to your notice. But otherwise, a very good use of the word. And I think this word has now stuck in our mind, right? And I'm sure when we go out to our respective offices or homes after this meeting, we're going to continue using this word. That's the purpose of this word of the day. Now let's see some good use of the words. Fascinating, wonderful uses of the words. Starting with our presiding officer, Catherine, off the cuff. Then I like that wordplay, or I don't know, I think it's called a triad, that knowledge, experience, stories. I mean, by using those three words, you told us so many things. And that's the fun of having some good line. Snapshot, Mohan, anchor, heart of the meeting. Very good words. Stephen, wow, wonderful. You are grounded. First of all, you started there. That title itself, gave us so many connotations and so many thoughts and ideas as to what it means. And then, you brought us really to the ground by your speech. Gate, overwhelming, feel the word. Wonderful, Stephen. She has, again, very nice words, like Mary said, that, you are absolutely on course to become a distinguished Toastmaster. Confrontation, perplexed, different version, 2-in-1, that metaphor of that ice cream, that 2-in-1 leader. Wonderful. I mean, suddenly that vivid words bring the whole thing, the concept so clearly to the audience, that's the power of good words. Cohesive, spectrum, comfort zone, so many. One place she has, I thought you missed, you said something, what and why. I forget the context, but what, why, where, if you use that triad, again, it helps. So just an observation she has, but otherwise, wonderful, as I said. Let's come to Mary. Then, of course, nuances, what have you, again, that word age, creed, caste, color, country, I mean, just those 4 or 5 words take you to the entire spectrum of the concept or the thought that you were trying to say. Rule of 3, I think you mentioned somewhere when you were talking. So great job done there too. Akhil, again, I think as a table topic, you were good. And Akhil, but an observation, I don't know whether Akhil is still there or he's left. Somewhere you said not spellbounding. I think spellbounding is not a word which is practiced. I think it's more not spellbinding. So just make that small correction. Ritu, again, nice words, data-driven, Jen, KPI metrics. Until about 3 years back, when I still came back from my engineering industry, I didn't know what is a KPI. Let me be very honest. This word KPI, then KT. Yeah, guest Vrunda, do you know what is the meaning of KT?
Is it keeping terms?
You're a commerce graduate, I'm sure.
No.
KT means knowledge transfer. I didn't know this about a year. Okay, so this is how all these IT people, they have this KPI, KRI, KTs, all these KKKs. But you learn from others, and so wonderful. Thank you very much for a great opportunity and a spellbinding session. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Milan. So let me summarize our data-driven part. Yeah. Sharing the screen. Yeah, let me summarize this meeting. So there are 3 aspects to it. One is toastmasters.org, where everybody has filled their basic information like their mail ID, where their location, based on which I have generated several analytics and then presented it in this meeting. Point one. And the second one is free Toast host. So this is definitely a great tool provided by Toastmasters. We should definitely leverage this tool. The first baby step we are doing is make sure that all of you are part of this. If you get any invitation, just make sure that you accept it. If anybody doesn't have access, just reach out to me, text me, I can add you. So this definitely helps me to generate other analytics, like how many speeches people have delivered, what roles they have taken. So I want to speak this with data. So these are the genetics that we can generate. The third one is on the interest survey. So I would work with Raghu, and I think he has got a form. I'm going to send you all one questionnaire or some Excel sheet survey. Just want to understand what is your interest now. What is that you want to learn? Maybe when you joined, it was a long time back, and that time you have different interests. And now if you want to learn something, interest change from time to time. So in my mind right now, I want to conduct a couple of education sessions, one on the free Toast host, and the second one is with the pathways. On top of that, if anybody wants to know anything, learn anything, so definitely this interest survey that will be rolled out to you all soon. If you can extend your cooperation by filling it on time and sending it back, that will help me to generate your interest analytics. So this is all the long story about using data analytics, data-driven decision making in our club for Toastmasters. So with this, I conclude my session. I would like to thank each one of you for your active, wholehearted participation from each one of you. And I would like to give the control back to the president of this club, Catherine. Over to you, Toastmaster Catherine.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohan Tenneti, for taking us on a journey of learning. Toastmasters and guests, I feel very enriched by all the speeches we have had today. I want to thank each of our speakers and each of our role takers for taking their role seriously. Toastmasters for Professionals is indeed a wonderful club to belong to, and I'm privileged to be part of it. For you, our guests, I'd like to give you an opportunity to share with us what you think this meeting was like for you, what your experience was. And this is the time we'll give you an opportunity to unmute and let us know what you thought about this meeting. Toastmasters, please help me identify our guests and allow them to come in to speak. Jen Lazé, are you a guest? Brunda, please unmute yourself and let us know, what do you think this meeting was like for you?
Hello, everyone. Firstly, thank you for allowing me to attend this session. It was very spellbinding. I was, right from the beginning, I was quite interested in, listening very attentively about what's happening, what's going to come next. So each topic was very enlightening to me, and it's my interest in joining Toastmasters has increased ever since. And I would be joining this club if I would be allowed to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brunda. Brunda, please feel free to contact our team. I think it's they have sent a message. If you can just share your details, and they'll reach out to you and send you an email and help you get started and get you a mentor so that you can start your journey with the Toastmasters for Professionals. Guest Niraj, are you there? Would you like to tell us what your view was of this meeting?
Yeah, my name is Neeraj, and this is my first Toastmaster session ever. And even I did not know what is Toastmaster is. Then I heard from someone there is a thing. Then I had a bad moment at my meeting. I thought I should improve in my speeches, and because I work as a senior internal auditor, so I need to have various client meetings. Like there are different type of meetings from the beginning to the end of an audit project. But sometimes I feel like I can't speak. It happens with me. So I just thought I should do some things to improve my speeches as well as my presentation. Then I was searching on the internet. Then I just saw the group, the Toastmaster for Professionals. So I thought it would be suited to my requirements. But I was not sure that the format of the meeting, how it goes. Then I was spellbound by the agenda as well as the content of this meeting. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Indeed, you are right, Niraj. The content and the delivery of our speeches and role takers is a class apart. I hope that tonight you will sign up and join this club so that you can grow not just as a public speaker, but also as a leader. I believe this is your place. You are most welcome.
Sure.
I'd like to give an opportunity to Trent Stricker and Ritu. Are you there? Would you like to tell us what your views about this meeting was? Trent Stricker, are you there? Are you able to speak? Or Ritu, please unmute.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, Catherine, this meeting was really insightful and all the speakers were great. Evaluations were great. I really enjoyed it. So I am already a member and I always look forward to the next meetings each time. So I am going to keep attending, and I will take up a pathway and move to the next step, next level. So I'm still now just attending, and I recently also completed a speechcraft program. So I have little more confidence than earlier now. So I think I'm ready to take the next step from here.
Thank you so much, Ritu. Thank you so much. You're most welcome once more. Trent Stricker, are you there? Are you able to speak and let us know? And see Trent. Okay. To you, our guests and role takers, thank you once again for taking us on a beautiful meeting. I think this was a great meeting. I do not know what else somebody would like to say, but I feel that this was a class apart, and I look forward to the next role takers. I would like to hand back to our Toastmaster Vice President Mohan to let us know and to generate those who will be role takers for the next meeting. Toastmaster Mohan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Please go ahead and call up role takers for the next meeting.
I don't think I have it ready, but I will just send it in the group. Oh, yeah, sorry, I have it. I have them. Yeah. One,
okay.
Sergeant at Arms is Raghuram. Do we have Raghuram here?
Yes.
No, we don't have him here.
Mohan, not to worry. This list of role takers, they're aware that they are coming on, particularly the TMOD. He knows because I've individually messaged.
TMOD is Rajat Gupta. Are you sure he's coming? Okay.
Yes, he's coming. He confirmed it.
Okay, Rajat Gupta, TMOD is confirmed. Then TTM Kamesh, I don't see him in this meeting. Timer is Shihas. Shihas, you are in this meeting. Can you confirm your availability for next meeting, which is on 4th of July?
So 4th of July, next week, right?
I mean, you know that, right? I mean, yeah. Next Tuesday.
I'll let you know
Next Tuesday, EST. Sorry.
I'll let you know, Mohan. I may have to travel on that day, so I'll just ping you and let you know later today.
To confirm, our counter, Manda, I don't see Amanda in the meeting today. Grammarian is Doreen. I will check with her. She's asking for a speaker slot, but I will text her.
I believe Doreen said she wasn't going to make it next week because it's July 4th.
Oh, she can't come, right? Okay. Okay, then I need to find out a grammarian.
And
Thanks,
you may wish to stop the recording.
We can get Marie. Or Susan, you would like to be?
No, I